Righto, out of a little hiatus, back from America, things got heated over there, didn't have time for anything, but we're back, GrinnaGolfCast, episode 10, we got Matt Griffin in the house, Australian pro golfer, been on the Japanese tour, currently on the Australian tour, member Victoria, so we'll talk about that, and all-round nice guy, so welcome to the GrinnaGolfCast.
No, thanks for having me. It's a famed podcast, I hear.
Slowly growing. But what will we start with? I played Victoria during the week, and we're sort of theming up the podcast now for top 100 world golf courses. And you've been a member for many years, grew up across the road at Cheltenham, so give us a little rundown of your introduction to golf and your childhood with the game.
Yeah, I started playing. Grew up in Beaumaris, so nice and close to all the Sandbelt clubs, and with my old man and brother, we'd play in school holidays, get out and play at Moorabbin and Cheltenham and Sandy and all that. And then I was lucky enough when I was 12 to join Chelt, so I started there. And then sort of as my golf got better, a club like Victoria, they want you to get you in for pennant, and I joined Victoria when I was 16 and sort of moved across after a few years playing pennant for Cheltenham, and then started playing for Victoria, and it's great place to hone your trade and build your golf game.
For sure. Yeah, I remember you saying you jumped the road, so many of the Cheltenham juniors cross the road. They actually share the same sort of driveway in. Which is really cool. And I believe there was a bit of a Cheltenham had to save their golf course recently, which is really cool. I think as in the community bound together, because the Sandbelt's sort of known for all the tier 1 courses, but there's some good local tracks like across the road from Vic, obviously Cheltenham, great 9-holer, and Sandy as well. So I hear you're very supportive of sort of grassroots clubs as well.
Yeah, it's so important. I think for someone like myself, my family, we weren't members at a Sandbelt club, so the access to golf clubs was that public facilities, and we had. Back then, there are a lot more. Now we've lost, like Elstonwick's gone and Moorabbin's gone. So if you lost or Cheltenham were to shrink and not be what it was, it's so important for young kids. And I played there a couple of weeks ago, and there were heaps of 20, 30-year-olds playing. And then, especially at the end of the round, there were kids everywhere. Kids from like 12 right through to 18, just chipping and putting, and basically they're till dark. So that's what a place like Chelt's all about. So it's really, really good to see.
Yeah, for sure. Little story, I'll dib myself in, but I reckon I was around 14, and me and my mates in summer would wait till after dinner and would sneak onto Sandy and Cheltenham and play for free. So they were onto us a few times, but that was my sort of first experience. And then when I sort of started getting some more money through odd jobs around the house and things, then we could start paying for it. But it's a quality track, Cheltenham. But we'll get on to Victoria. There's lots of different rankings, but I'm sort of basing my trip on golf.com rankings, and that has Victoria at number 93. Very well deserved. It's one of the 4 Sandbelt courses in the top 100, the 2 Royal Melbournes across the road and Kingston Heath as well. But it's a very unique course, Victoria. I think it definitely distinguishes itself in a few different ways. The start is a par 4 iconic short one, which is very untraditional. You can sort of hit a 4-iron onto it. And then both 9 holes finish with par 5s, I believe. So you sort of grind through, especially for good players like you sort of grind through, and then there's a little birdie fest can be had if you hit the fairway on your first. It gives yourself a good chance. But yeah, talk me through a few of your favourite holes, and I'd love to hear about your story of the first hole.
Yeah, it's a really I always find Vic's a bit underrated. It's sort of at 93 in the world rankings. You've got Kingston Heath, I'm not sure what it is, but I know it's sort of around the 30s, and I think they're both amazing courses, and probably the gap, Vic should probably be a bit higher and a bit close to Kingston Heath. And what Vic has is a great balance, I find, between you got a couple of short par 5s, you got a couple of long par 5s that are real turn into pretty much 3-shot holes. That's sort of 9 and 17, and they're great par 5s. Then you've got a couple of great short 4s in 15 is probably, you could argue, the best short 4 on the Sandbelt on a Sandbelt that has a lot of good short 4s, and then obviously you got the first, which is a really unique 230-metre hole, and sort of it's one of those holes you stand on the tee and you're like, well, if you don't make birdie, you're pretty disappointed. Yeah. But if you do hit it in the wrong spot, then bogey's right on the cards. And as you sort of touched on, I was having a round with, had a guest there probably, I think it'd be a bit over 10 years ago now, but we teed off 10, so this was our 10th hole. But fortunately got the 3-iron out and front left pin, and in she went. So it was a nice way to make an albatross, and unfortunately not in a comp, so the name didn't go up on the honour board, but I thankfully had someone to prove that it actually happened. So but love the place. It's a really cool golf course, and it tests every aspect of your game, which all sandbelt golf does.
Yeah, I love you mentioned 15. It's definitely my favourite hole. I reckon my average would be almost a double bogey on that. I get tempted in every time. We were both lucky enough on whatever it was, a couple of days ago, to both get on for one and get our birds with 2 putts. But it can tempt you in, because if you go anywhere left, there's deep bunkers. You can push it out right. It's just a great hole. And then obviously you can play it smart and just hit a 7-iron.
Absolutely. It's, as you say, like in tournaments, there's people range from anything from sort of driver through to 7-iron, which is a pretty cool thing off a tee shot. And it gives you the chance for eagle, but also if you do get in those, especially greenside bunkers, it plays havoc. It's a really fun, tight green, and a lot of famous stuff. I think Tiger made eagle there in the last round when he came down and played the Masters, and there's a famous tree on the left side of the green that Jack Nicklaus, when he played a tournament there in the 70s, he hit it left down onto the 11th hole and hit his shot up onto the green and made birdie, and then the members like, that can't happen again. So they put a big massive gum tree in there, which is still there. So it's a really fun and probably the signature hole in the course.
Yeah, beauty. And I think the other thing, it's the one true sandbelt course with it used to have accommodation, but it has such a cool old school clubhouse, I reckon. There's nothing too sort of over the top, but I guess whenever I go there, which I'm lucky enough with you, my mum's a member there, like it's just a great sort of club culture, I reckon. The members seem to welcome everyone in. It seems to be very tight-knit sort of group, especially like the women there, like mum's doing sort of fancy dress every second week and playing, which is pretty crazy on the 93rd best course. And then obviously you got some pretty crazy members like yourself, and then you got Jeff Ogilvy, obviously. You've got Peter Thompson, and tell me about a few stories about those guys or what you think of them.
Yeah, it's got a great history with the of great players playing at Victoria, and obviously Peter Thompson, the 5-time British Open champion, and I hadn't had a huge amount to do with Peter, but I was fortunate enough to go and play on a team that he had in China. It was I think an Asia Pacific team versus China, and that was sort of as he was sort of getting on in life. But he called me up after that and gave me some. I'd love to give you some advice. So we went down and had a coffee, which was really really cool, and then. I think about 12, 18 months later, I won the New Zealand Open, and I got a call, hi, it's Peter Thompson on the line. And he quickly reminded me that he said, Matt, you've won 1, I've won 10, so you've got 9 to go. So
New Zealand Opens?
He won 10, yeah. Oh, wow. So pretty, he just dominated those events through the years. But Jeff, another Cheltenham member, he jumped the fence as well. So Jeff started at Cheltenham. He's been sort of, when I first turned up to Cheltenham, Jeff was he was 18, 19, but he'd come back and chip and putt around the chipping green at Cheltenham when I was 12, 13. And then as my golf got better, he was sort of just embarking on the European tour. So he was the guy you wanted to have a hit with. And he came back sort of around COVID. So we played a fair bit of golf back then, played a few money games, and I tried to take each other's cash. So that was, And there's been lots. Paul Sheehan was a member there. There's Alison Whittaker, who now commentates on the tour. Cool. A lot of really high-profile players. And they've had a great history. Their pennant team's been probably the strongest of all the clubs. So probably from a high-profile player, they're as good as anyone on the Sandbelt.
Yeah, well, it's a good lead-in. I'm at the National, and then OCM's obviously just done Long Island, which I think is going to be really good once it grows in. But I sort of... I agree with you in the sense of I think Victoria's sort of closing in on Kingston Heath and a couple, maybe RM East and things like that. And I think OCM is a big part of that. Like the greens at Victoria, and I think PK as well, is almost the best in the sandbelt now. I believe, they did all 18 greens a few years ago, and I think they're sort of killing Australian golf, as in a good way.
Yeah, no, they've got an incredible run now you've got the PK courses, Long Island and Huntingdale. I haven't been there, but here it's fantastic. And Victoria, when I joined, which was 2001, show my age now, but it was just Mike Clayton had just got in there and to start doing some renos, and the course was a good golf course, but it's completely different to what it is now. They basically he took it back to like a 1930 photo that they'd taken, and basically they've matched a lot of the work back to that. So, and they just kind of chipped away at it. And then when the club wanted to redo the greens, they had a really good go at the course, and that was sort of 2018. And it's really since then it's been they've got the full job done now. It's from what the course was when I first joined to what it is now. It's basically a new place, and there's a lot of some members at the club that need a lot of credit, and then obviously Mike and the guys at OCM for what they've done.
Yeah, so tell me about your career. We mentioned about the New Zealand Open win, which is obviously a big highlight for you, but during the week when we played, we were talking about the Q school struggles, and like that sort of every Australian pro or every pro around the world has to go through. It's a very intense environment, which I learned. I was very lucky enough to be doing it just for fun, but of course everyone's playing for their livelihood. And then your Japanese tour experience, your Australian tour experience, some of these big events, I believe, was it 2 British Opens you played? But go from the start of your we talked about your junior career, but into Q school, and then where did that lead?
Yeah, it's I guess a big journey really. Like I turned pro a bit later. I went to uni first, and so I was 25 when I turned pro, but was fortunate enough. I got a good start on the Aussie tour when I did. I had some invites and played well, and then earlier the next year I went up to Asia and went to Q school, which was 2 stages, and I sort of cruised through that, which was nice. But I always sort of dreamed of playing on the bigger tours, like in the PJ Tour in America, European Tour, or in Japan. And so it was a long journey of Q schools. My first year I went to US Q school, I got through first stage and then got to second, which if you get through second, that gives you some status on at least the Corn Ferry Tour, but had a bit of a heartbreak there. I think I had quite a good last round, so I didn't leave anything out there, but end up missing by 1, which
crazy.
You sit back in the hotel room,
I can imagine,
looking at the ceiling, going, "What have I done here?" And at that sort of time, you're like, "Well, there'll be another opportunity for sure." Like you feel like you're pretty close, but then I had a couple of years where I missed again at second stage, and then I went back again the final time, and that was pretty. When I missed that year, that was pretty heartbreaking, because I was kind of like that was my last chance in the States to do it. But swings and roundabouts, like I think that was probably 2012, and then I sort of went back and played in Asia through that period. I had a couple of wins through in Asia, which was boosted my career really nicely. Won SK Telecom Open, and then the Korean PGA in Korea, which was one of their major championships in Korean major championships.
Yeah.
Had my girlfriend at the time, now wife, caddy for me, which was pretty awesome. That was a pretty cool experience, and then really cracked Japan. So it was later that year in 2014 where 6 rounds, 108 holes in Japan in December, which for those that know Japan, it's pretty cold. We're outside of Osaka, and we had, I think that week we had rain one day. The second day we turned up, we had sleet, which they then called it off. The next day we had 50-kilometre-hour winds, wind chill of like 4 or 5 degrees. So it was just a long week, and I kind of played well. I was well inside the number, but it's a lot of mornings to wake up. Basically with your career on the line, going, I need to do this. So top 20 out of 200 players at the start of the week. So very fortunate to get through that, and then that opened up Japan, which I was there for 9 years. So had some great experiences over there. I absolutely love Japan. It's a place.
So do I.
Everyone that goes there just has a great time. I don't miss a lot of places that I don't get to go back to, but Japan's one that is a place that I sort of follow the scores up there, and each week you go, we've been there a lot of times. You know, the restaurants, the different places to go, and some of the cool places. And we had a great group of guys up there, really similar age to what I am, so we had a lot of fun in the time I was there.
For sure. Any highlight of the whole it's hard. 9 years is a long time. There must be a lot of highlights, a lot of lowlights. Any sort of biggest highlight throughout that whole time?
Probably it was the start of the 2019 season, and we had our first child on the way, so it was like that was going to be middle of the year. So I'm like, I'm going to miss a chunk of golf, so I kind of had to play well. And first event of the year, I got out there and finished second to Brendan Jones. I remember my caddy telling me after, like early in the final round, I was pretty headless, you're wasting a good week here. He's like, just knuckle down, and you never know what's going to come. And I think I was 7 under the last 11 holes and ended up going down by a shot to BJ. So, and then followed that up the next trip. I came back and finished third. So in the first results. 2 weeks of the year, I locked away my card and could kind of relax, which was pretty cool. A few close shaves. Had a close shave at the Japan PGA the year before. Probably blew it in the third round with a double bogey stretch, but ended up having a putt to get in the playoff on the last hole from 50 feet that somehow lived out.
We'll put that video up. That's heartbreaker. And I think I've said to you, you are the most calm, composed golfer I've ever had, but I could even see in your face the heartbreak of what could have been or whatever, but still an incredible effort, obviously. Yeah,
my favourite part of that video is seeing my playing partner, the Korean KT Kim, he can even see that he's like looks shocked when it doesn't go in, but that's golf. So it was cool to be there and have those experiences. And I think the great thing with golf, I'm sure you have it with footy, like those moments in your career, you can still, even though they might be 10 years ago, like I can still almost feel them.
Yeah, for sure.
You go back and you can sort of almost close your eyes and you feel where those things are. So that's really cool to have. Yeah,
absolutely. And then is it 2 British Opens you played?
Yeah. So first one was Birkdale, which was 2017, the one Jordan Spieth won, and one of those things I wouldn't say you enjoy the experience, but at the time, because I remember absolutely just the first hole there is hopefully you're going to play it in a few weeks. First hole there's a massive bunker on the left and out of bounds all the way down the right, and just wind straight into off the left, which is
it's pushing it.
Right hand is absolute nightmare.
For sure.
And I just remember the whole 2-3 days before that, literally over that first shot, going just absolutely shitting myself. Basically, I was just I just couldn't. Just needed to get that shot away, and thankfully I hit a good shot. But the nerves and that were just something I've never experienced before. So it was really cool week. And unfortunately, I made a triple in the second round. I was going quite nicely, and then ended up missing the shot cut by a couple of shots. So but it's a fine margin in these things when you get the quality of field that you have. And then I got the ultimate bucket list one in 2022 where I played the Open at St Andrews.
Yeah, was the 150th year?
150th, yeah. So it was a special week. Stay at the Old Course Hotel.
How good.
Need to sell a kidney to stay there, but it was
it'd be worth it for sure.
Absolutely, and got to enjoy the party with Cam on the Sunday night after he won. So.
Oh, of course, Cam Smith won. Yeah, I remember seeing some footage of you. Yeah, got to celebrate with him and all the Australians band together.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool thing. Played a practice round with Ernie on the Wednesday.
Ernie, how
before
good.
The tournament. He showed me around the course and what to do, what not to do, and
how cool's that?
We kind of played. Our group was off really late in the first day, so we're off at about I think 10 to 4 in the afternoon. So it was a long wait, but with the way the course plays, it was a super long round, and but we sort of went through the loop, which the loop at St Andrews is the holes these 7 to 10, where you do this big loop and sort of cross back on yourself. Anyway, we were in there when Tiger was there, so he wasn't playing that well, but the stands were full.
Yeah,
it was almost, for a golfer, it was a bit like going out the MCG in some ways. You had the crowd all around, so it was pretty really, really special week. Again, miscut by a couple of shots and sort of just to get the putter going, but I sort of felt good thing out of those. Like obviously you want to make the cut and have a good week, but I sort of felt like I held my head high and actually gave a good crack.
Yeah,
with a couple of things going the other way, I could have easily had a bit better week.
Yeah, I remember, when we started playing together, I remember the first thing that's always stuck by me in terms of professional golf, you said something about the putter. Like, often it's just whoever's putter's hot is the difference, like, because you can all get to tee to green pretty well, and then, it's a game of millimeters. So, how much do you think it actually comes down to the putting?
Oh, it's hugely,
at that level,
hugely important. Yeah, it's such a fine margin. Like, there's so many, golf's such a game where so much different stuff can happen. Like, you get the right bounce, the right time, wrong bounce, wrong time. It's sort of, it's one of those things that just the margin between good and bad, especially now that there's so many good players out there, is so small. And I look at pretty much every tournament that the tournament winner will have that ounce of luck that you wouldn't normally get. Like, a guy like Tiger gets won his events by 9-10 shots, he's probably taken that out. But generally every week there'll be something where the winner will go back and go, geez, that's a sliding doors moment. If that went the other way, then it could be totally different. So it's just, and over time all that stuff balances itself out. You got to take the good with the bad, but it's can be frustrating at times.
Yeah, for sure. Well, having heard about a couple of unlucky things and missing putts and missing cuts. I know 2 of the wins I've seen you do. Well, the New Zealand Open early days, I wouldn't have seen that, but that must have been a highlight. And then saw a video of you. Was it the Heritage you won pretty recently with your son there as well? That must have been so cool.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Crazy. Well, the dream of a golfer, I guess, is to be able to have your kids run out and celebrate with you. So, my wife and I, we just bought a house, I think, about a couple of weeks before, and we had Max would have been 1 and Jack would have been 3, maybe 4 at the time. 4. And so the week before that, on the Monday, I think with my best mate, we're moving our couches to reframe the house. So I was like, I don't know, got no idea what's going to come here, and get out, play the pro-am on the Wednesday. Went home and then went out and shot 11 under the first day.
How good.
So it was
that close to a course record, or was it?
It was course record.
It was course record, yeah.
So I had 8 birdied the first 8 holes of the back 9 coming.
Oh, right.
It was my second 9.
Yeah.
But it was almost one of those days, just like unconscious, just like it just kept happening, and then day 2 was out early and shot 7. So I was I think 6 shots in front after 2 days. So long weekend to wait.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So hold on to it. I think we're teeing off about 2:30 each day, so it was long mornings. But had a bit of a scare on the last day, but ended up clearing out and won by 6. So really cool to be able to walk up the last, enjoy it, and then Jack came steaming out. He came running so hard.
How good's that?
I remember him running down the hill. I think he almost started to fall over. I'm like, how am I going to line him up here so I don't absolutely clean him up as he comes down? But got a big hug, which was a video I'll remember for a long time.
For sure. How good's that? And a little bit about the New Zealand Open win. What year was that, and what course did you play that at?
That was 2016 at the Hills.
Cool.
Yeah, amazing place to play golf.
Yeah.
Another event where I played a guy, Hideto Tanihara. We kind of cleared out on the weekend. We were sort of, I think, 6 or 7 shots behind in front of third. So it sort of became a bit of match play especially on the Sunday. And I had my parents that were there. My wife was there. So it was a really, really cool to win in front of them.
Yeah.
And came right down to the last. He was in the lead most of Sunday and had a 1-shot lead going at the last. And we talk about the bad luck. I had a bit of good luck. I go back, if you watch the video, I hit my drive and there's like this little speed slot down the left-hand side. And if you hit it on the right, it goes a bit right, goes in this super long rough, you've got no shot.
Okay.
And I hit my drive, thought I'd smoked it down there, and I see the first bounce, I'm like, oh, that's gone the rough.
Oh, no.
And I slam the club in the bag. Sure enough, it's taken down in the fairway on the perfect spot. He's in the rough, and he hit his in the bunker, but I hit a cracking shot. That's one of those shots I can still feel.
Yeah.
Into about 6 feet, and he made bogey, and thankfully I snuck my birdie putt in the left side, and special place to win, like with all the mountains around, and winning a national open was a really cool experience.
How good's that? Yeah, it's just that was a major difference. Obviously, between football, it's like you got once a week to either win or lose. It's a 50% chance, and then you get that. Like, you get that relief, you get that winning. But golf, like you said, you're proud of second and third and even top 10s, top 20s. Like, to put it all together, actually win, I don't think people understand how hard it is. And one of the big arguments I have in my sports WhatsApp group is like about Tiger Woods. Like they'll show me stats of other sports and all this stuff, but like I try to reiterate like how hard it is actually to win a golf tournament. There's so much to go right. Like the luck, like you just said, like you could have bounced in the rough and you would have in past events and not won and things like that. And just everything has to go right. The putt has to be good, the driver, the irons, which is just so hard. And then, yeah, sometimes not in your control because someone will get hot on the back nine, or it's just crazy different sport. And I think it's by far the hardest sport in the world. And I imagine, speaking of a lot of golfers, there's so much stress, and obviously there's a lot more bad experiences, I guess, or bad luck than good luck.
Yeah, and you get, golf, you've generally got 156 guys, 156 in the field, so 155 guys to beat. So it's pretty, it's a rare occurrence. Like I've played for 18 years as a pro now, and I've won 7 times, which is like relative to a lot. It's pretty good. It's
successful,
not nothing
for sure.
like a Tiger Woods has done, but that's and I feel like that's a reasonable amount of wins for that time. Like what he was able to do, his winning percentage is just outrageous. It just showed how, I think for him, like, only in a year you might play, in a really good year, you're probably at the top of your game maybe 5-6 times a year at best. But it showed that his probably second level of golf, and even possibly third when he was at the top, was still good enough to be better than everybody else. And those weeks when he was at the top of his game, he'd win by, cruise in by 6-7 shots. So
for sure,
it's and probably over. Thing with golf's waiting, you've always got to do over to four days. So you can have a good first day, but it's a matter of backing it up, and knowing what's ahead of you.
Absolutely. All right, we'll wrap it up just with the last segment. So episode 10, we'll go through your favourite 10th hole ever, you reckon? And then I'll provide mine, and we can go from there. See if we can come together with a conclusion.
Yeah, well, Royal Melbourne West, my favourite golf course in the world. It's always had a special place in my heart. But the 10th there at on the West, it's a short. I think it's around about 270, 280. Dogleg left, massive bunker, probably one of the biggest bunkers in the world on the left, and it's such a strategic hole. Really cool green. Tempts you to go for it, but if you get it wrong going for it, it's probably one of the most lethal around the green and very hard to hit. So always tends to play in a bit of a southerly. So it's very special. I absolutely love that hole. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's my favourite type of hole, the short par 4, and obviously the Melbourne Sandbelt's regarded for them, and that is an absolute cracker because pretty much any pro or any scratch golfer can make the green with driver, or even 3-wood or 5-wood or whatever it is. But yeah, like you said, it's almost like a quarry bunker that if you're in there, you're in trouble. And then even if you land on the green at the wrong spot, you're out the back, you got a hard up and down. It's just, there's not much wiggle room. Or you can just take a sort of 5-iron and outright, and you got a nice wedge and another good birdie look if you sort of take that approach. So that is a cracker. I remember I actually did go for it. We were playing off the 10th the first time. As our first hole, I went for it. I don't know what, I was feeling confident. Got on, hit eagle, and I ended up through, I think it was 5 holes. I'd had 2 eagles, a few birdies. I was 7 under the card. Awesome. And my mates were like, oh, here we go. And I was probably off like 5 at the time and didn't even break par. Because Royal Melbourne, I think that's why it's such a good course. And a lot of, I guess, people that don't play much golf just don't realise how good it is. I just think it's a perfect example of a golf course that there's plenty of birdies to be had if you hit good golf shots. But if you hit bad ones, you get punished, which is, I think, quintessentially what makes a good golf course. Get rewarded for good shots, punished for bad. And that is an absolute cracker.
You've nailed RM to a T. Like it. That's why it's such a good place is that you can make birdie or eagle on most holes out there, but when you're tempted to do it, and if you get it wrong, you're staring double in the place really quickly. Like I've played couple of tournaments there, and I played really well in, but I made 3 doubles that week, which is pretty rare when you're playing well. But it just shows the fine margin. You get it slightly wrong, you take a bit too much on, then it just punishes you. So it gives you plenty of chance to make birdies, but get you when you make a mistake.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put it to the viewers on who, but I think that's going to be hard to beat. I'll put up a course I played twice this week, my own course, the National Mooner number 10. Why I like that, it's a good short par 4. There's a windmill on it, so I love seeing. I take a lot of international guests, and sort of the vista out on 10 is just so quintessentially Australian. There's normally a sort of group of kangaroos on the right that sort of live by there. There's a windmill just still from the sort of origins of the land, and just a classic green complex. There's many pins to be had. There's one up right where there's a massive bowl you can hit into. But I just think it's a pretty easy sort of drive, but you're left with that sort of awkward 60, 70 metre shot in. And the amount of times I just walk away with just a par where you think you're going to birdie it because of the slopes and being able to access pins, I think it's an absolute cracker.
No, it's a beauty, that one. It's I know it's one of those holes that kind of gives you all the room out to the right, but if you can go down the left, you've got that real speed
Good
slide
angle.
down there.
Yeah.
And you can almost, in the right weather, you can almost drive it on.
Yeah.
But if you do miss it then left, it's absolutely horrid. So, it's a really, good fun hole, that one. And you can even, sometimes you see some cows in the paddocks at the back there as well. It's
Alistair Clarkson's.
Yeah.
Hanging out there. Yeah, I love links golf, and it's what off to Ireland and Scotland in sort of a month's time. I just love that, like, you can be 60 metres out on that fairway and you can putt it, you can play a bump and run, you can hit a wedge to it, you can play to a right bank, left bank, like, you should just be so creative, and I love that about links golf. And I think, the Sandbelt also offers that sort of array of shots.
Absolutely. Yeah, when the ball's running, that's when golf's fun. When it just stops and sits, it's still a good game, but it's so much more fun when the ball gets on the green and all surrounds and rolls.
For sure. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks a lot, Griff. And I think the next podcast out will be somewhere in California. I'm going down to Carmel, around Pebble Beach area, playing some pretty cool tracks next week. So I have no idea who's going to be the next guest, but I'll find someone cool, I'm sure. But really appreciate the time and to talk about Victoria, the Sandbelt, and your pro career. It's been really good.
No, thanks for having us, and very envious of your travels, watching them on Insta, and it's pretty cool some of the places you get into. So enjoy it.